Medicinal effect, it might help. The water of life itself. So this is
Tell me about this one.
Teeling, small batch Irish whiskey. It's the first distillery to be built in Dublin for over 125 years, and the chaps that make it, Jack and Stephen, their family was doing it back in 1782. So it's a lovely story of two lads bringing craft distilling.
I like it when there's a story.
It's back to the centre of Dublin. I'm super excited by it.
Nice colour, isn't it? It's very sort of golden and...
That's exactly it, and it's quite bright, and they use a rum cask finish. So whiskey's all about the interplay between the fruit. You can't smell a thing.
I can't.
You poor thing. Shall I describe it for you?
I can feel the sort of burning in my nostril, but I can't really smell anything.
It's all about the kind of
honey as well.
Exactly. So that's from the rum cask finish that they use, which gives it just that little bit of sweetness, and it's a tremendous.
Is it very
effort.
nice?
It's really lovely, and the great thing is, once you've had a taste, it goes on for ages. You can still, and it's different as each minute goes by. It still tastes different as you taste it.
I think it's one of those ones to savour, and it's a real treat, something a little bit different. But around the world, we have incredible whiskies as well. Obviously, Scotland, I had to give you a fantastic single malt.
Oh, this is your favourite.
Can I declare an interest here? This is absolutely, without question, my whiskey of choice.
You have that in common with Mrs. Smith.
Do you know, I can even slightly smell this.
Yeah.
I can smell that smoky...
Because it really is, it's one of those that either you love or hate, I have to say.
That's exactly it. And it is, this one's a little bit special. It's Lafroig 12-year-old from Highgrove.
My mum bought me this exact bottle for Christmas.
Oh, I'm raising my glass to your mum. She has impeccable taste. I mean, the Prince of Wales is obviously a huge fan, but it's a lovely bottle. They number each bottle, and it's a single cask from the distillery that gets singled out, especially and exclusively for Highgrove.
But it's smoky and bonfire and peaty and seaweed and harboury and all of that.
Although I can't smell it as well today, I know what it smells like.
It's so smoky.
I know what it smells like. It smells like, you know, when you come down like the day after Christmas and there's been a fire and you can smell all that sort of Christmassy, lovely, smoky smells.
Well, your house burnt down.
No, you know, like a fire.
A seasoning
smell. In a fireplace.
A seasoning smell. No, I'm a huge fan as well, and I should have said the first whiskey was 31.75 from Master Malt. This one, 59.95 from Highgrove.com.
Oh, that's a question.
You can, anything you like.
I didn't realise. Thank you, Mum.
So, when it comes to whiskey, aren't you just straight up?
It's a fantastic
ice,
question.
Bit
now,
of water?
I always try it first to see what it tastes like, but then I think you can open up the flavour with a splash of water. However, as we go on, you'll see that some distilleries say, actually, if you enjoy it over ice, if you enjoy it as a mixer, go for it. And I think that's quite a healthy, you know,
Doesn't that
approach.
dull some of the flavour, though?
It does. I would
down?
personally, if I was having a less expensive spirit, I might use that as a mixer. But some of these finer ones, like, for example, the Highgrove, I would just enjoy either neat or with a tiny splash of water to just bring out all of those aromas and flavours.
Difference between... I'm only asking this because I'm not as clever as you two. Single malt or...
Single malt is the produce of one distillery, so you can blend whiskey from different distilleries, and a single malt is made from barley from one distillery. Yeah, there you go. So Lafroig's the single malt.
This is very pale.
It is, and this is something very interesting indeed. This is a fine single malt English whiskey from M&S for £35. Now, this has only happened since 2009. It's in Norfolk, they're in Norwich, and they're doing something completely different.
It's got its own very... If you were to line these up, you'd spot this one, because that really is its own very unique smell.
Very light, very fragrant, and I'm a big fan. Oh, you poor thing, Holly, I feel for you.
It's really weird. I can't smell any smells, but I can feel the heat of it.
You can feel the warming, tempting, soothing deliciousness.
Yeah.
It's tantalising, tantalising. But this one here is floral, exactly. This one outsold the equivalent Scotch whisky in Marks and Spencer's over Christmas. So.
And this is a single malt also?
Well, this one here I think it's a blend, actually, this one. No, it is, you're quite right, it is a single malt, I beg your pardon, it is. And there are other English distilleries, at Adnams in Suffolk, and there's one in Cornwall, and you have Penderyn in Wales that are fantastic as well.
What I'm about to say is makes it sound like a negative, but it's not, it's a plus, but it's just slightly soapy. It's got a little bit of soapy.
Floral and fragrant, I know exactly what you mean, that aromatic character to it. Do you know what, I think that's one for summertime, when it comes.
Yeah.
Sit in the garden with a glass of that.
Well, this weekend.
Whiskey for summer.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, as a mixer, I mean, the next whiskey we've got, they serve it over ice themselves. So I've served it over ice to you, and we're going all the way to Japan.
Oh,
we're
right.
going to the Yamazaki, the 12-year-old Yamazaki from Kyoto.
Thank you very much.
No, it's all my pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Trolls.
Cheers.
Why have you? What is this with?
So this one here, in all their commercials they serve it over ice, and I thought, look, we don't often do that, and people will frown upon it, of course. But actually, if you fancy chilling down on a summer's day, the effect is it does dull down the complexity and it does chill it down, but it is also a bit of fun at the end of the day.
What's that like? I don't normally like ice in.
Pretty
That's
amazing.
lovely.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, they've been going since 1922. I'll bring it back. You can take that with you. I'll leave that for you, Holly, and you can have it on your recovery. But yeah, the Yamazaki, I mean, they've been making Japanese whiskey since 1923. So again, there's heritage and history there, and they're trying to make something unique. They're trying to make something with the water there. It's very pure and it has an impact.
Is it smoother than the one before?
I find this
because when I'm
particularly
smelling
smooth.
it, I can't feel it sort of burny.
Yeah.
But also, I should point out as well, because a lot of people say, I look at my Twitter feed after and say, oh, you're smelling, it's so posh, but it's not. If you've spent 50 quid on a bottle of whiskey, 20 quid will be in the taste, and 20 quid and more will be in the fact that it smells gorgeous.
Absolutely right, and I think it's half the enjoyment, if I'm honest. It's that kind of, it's exactly the same pleasure you get from when a chef puts a great meal in front of you and it looks amazing.
Ooh, that smells nice.
Amazing.
Yes.
And then the evening kicks off. And
always smell.
yeah, it's good fun. It is
right,
good fun.
what's this one next?
The next one I've chosen an absolute bargain. This is £12.99 at Aldi, and it's a Highland Black 8-year-old, and I have made you a little cocktail. It's Fever Tree ginger beer in there with a slice of lime, and I think in its own right, actually, this whiskey has won a series of gold medals, and it's done brilliantly well. So, diluted or undiluted, it's a cracking
Yeah, I like it very much, but for me, I think I would like the whiskey rather than
the cocktail. Yeah, fair play.
I had one the other day which I fell in love with, which was called a Gallic Caesar, which was clamato juice. Have you ever heard of clamato?
Yeah, with the
it's tomatoes and clams.
The clams, yeah.
Although I couldn't taste any clams, I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up. I was sitting at the table googling, trying to find out what it was. An Ardbeg whiskey.
Really
with just a little bit of lemon, so it was really sort of sea and peaty, and that was my favourite cocktail. One of the few cocktails I like that has whiskey in it, because I prefer the whiskey on its own.
It's a great point, though. Depending on where the whiskies come from, they do taste very, very different.
They do, yeah, they do vary a lot.